I've been collecting makeup for a really long time, okay? Don't judge me. But we're gonna try to go from 64 eyeshadow palettes to 20. I did, however, find another organization. They are called Project Beauty Share. They're based out of Washington, where you can still send all of your gently used makeup. My first no. This palette is straight up garbage.
It's called Mercury in Retrograde?
Yes. Stop choking on your beer and let me get through my video. Now we have all of the Anastasia palettes. I have 4 of them. So I have the Modern Renaissance palette. Sorry, I totally just ignored you. But I have the Modern Renaissance palette, the Soft Glam palette, the Norvina palette, and also the Sultry palette. Let's start with the one that I know I'm probably going to keep, and that is the Norvina palette. This is absolutely beautiful. There's nothing really that I can say about Anastasia's eyeshadow formula. All of them are super pigmented, very easy to blend out. You can go and do that very, very soft look if you want, or you can use some of the eyeshadows and amp it up. It's really, really nice. And a lot of these shades are just really, really stunning. Probably my favorite Anastasia palette out of all of them, so we're gonna keep this one. Modern Renaissance is, I mean, this is a classic. It's an OG palette. It's very similar to kind of like the Urban Decay Naked One eyeshadow palette vibes, where everyone knows this palette and everyone likes it. I'm gonna stick it in the maybe pile though, just because I do feel like I have some similar tones. The Soft Glam palette, I am going with, oh, it kind of breaks my heart to say this, but I'm gonna go with no. I have a lot of eyeshadow palettes I feel like that are very, very similar to this. Actually, between this one and the Nabla Side by Side palette, I'm gonna actually pull it out here. I mean, you've got some pretty similar tones in here. I would say the Soft Glam palette leans a little bit more pinky, so there is that, but you can definitely see some similarities in this palette. I don't know, I may have to make a game time decision. I'm gonna go back on that one and put this in the maybe pile as well. And then we have the Sultry palette. Man, I never ever reach for this palette, if I'm being totally honest. I used it once for a Backstreet Boys concert. And also, oh, actually, no, I also wore this when I went to an Illenium concert as well. But I just don't find myself really reaching for this. It's also a weird formula. The mattes in here are incredibly powdery and dusty and just kind of strange and not really on par with like the Norvina palette. Like, I don't have this weird powder kick up in this palette as much as I do with the Sultry palette. So if I had to really get rid of one of my Anastasia palettes, I think it's this one. So yeah, we're gonna put this in the donate pile. The next palette that we have here, this is the Moods palette from Laura Makeup Labs. I absolutely love this palette. I actually think all of the colors in here are absolutely beautiful, very easy to work with. And the highlights in here are so amazing and gleamy as well. So this is probably going to be a save, but I'm going to put it in the maybe pile just for now. I actually have another Anastasia palette. You can imagine that this was probably going to get donated because I completely forgot I had it. This is the Jackie Aina and Anastasia collaboration. I actually really think that this eyeshadow palette is absolutely beautiful. I never used it even after picking it up when it was on sale. So I don't feel like I have any right to keep it. I feel like it can find a better home than I have given it. So donate. This is an easy palette to put straight into the donate palette. This is the Pixie and It's Judy Time collaboration. I have all of these shades. This eyeshadow palette, there's nothing wrong with it. It's fine. It's just not like legendary or anything like that. So going to the donate pile. Next we had the KKW Beauty eyeshadow palette in Classic Blossom. The colors are absolutely beautiful, but I never reach for this palette, so donate. Ooh, this is the Tati Beauty eyeshadow palette. So for those of you that don't know, Tati is a YouTuber, quite famous or infamous depending on how you know her. When she came out with this eyeshadow palette, I actually thought it was quite revolutionary because what she did is she has these main colors and then she provides them in a bunch of different textures. And so she actually shut down Tati Beauty recently, and so this is a palette that you can no longer find. Her glitter shadows are honestly some of the best on the market. I'm quite bummed actually that she's not going to be able to release more eyeshadows, so we'll keep this one regardless of your feelings on Tati, I guess. And now we are looking at our Nomad Cosmetics palettes. Ooh, this one is really, really tough for me to, I don't know. I don't have anything else that's quite like this. Like, look at how vibrant and neon these shades are. I'm going to put this in the maybe pile just because I don't know. The Berlin Underground palette, though, this one I am going to hang on to. I feel like I should have a special category for eyeshadow palettes that I'm hanging on to just because they mean something to me. I used this palette when I was going through some pretty awful times in my life, and I'm hanging on to it not because it's like a memory of a great time, but because I feel like this eyeshadow just, I don't know, it gave me a sense of happiness during a dark time. And so if it's okay with you, I'm gonna put this in a separate category. Yeah, we're gonna hang on to this one. I'm not gonna count this toward the goal of 20 eyeshadow palettes because it's just, it means too much to me to get rid of. I feel like the Inglot palette is also the same. This is what I used for my wedding makeup, speaking of like very special or huge events in my life. Yeah, I'm keeping this. Yeah, oh, duh. I used it for my wedding. Ooh, the Dominique Cosmetics Sweater Weather Eyeshadow Palette. I believe that's what this is called. I love these shades so much. I reach for this very regularly when I want to just do a quick pink eyeshadow look and run out the door. The mattes in here are so creamy and nice. Oh, it's really, really hard for me to say goodbye to this eyeshadow. But it is very similar to the Marvelous Mauves palette from Dose of Colors, which I also really enjoy. We will put this in the maybe pile and come back to it. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Instant Eye Palette. To be totally honest, I got this during the Nordstrom anniversary sale and then I just never used it. And when I compare it to the other Charlotte Tilbury palette that I have that has like the multiple like color stories in it, this one just kind of seems like it's good, but I also feel like I can replicate this. So yeah, it's hard to get rid of Charlotte Tilbury though because her stuff is really good. I'm gonna put this in the maybe pile. This is the KVD Beauty eyeshadow palette. I never reach for this. The eyeshadows in here are great. I really, really like that this entire packaging is recyclable. I really like where the brand is going with their identity now that Kat Von D has left. But I don't use this. I never seem to reach for it, so it doesn't feel quite right to keep it when I could donate it. Ooh, this is the Ciate London palette that they collaborated with Chloe Morello. This is the Pretty Fun and Fearless palette. It's also limited edition. You can't find this anymore. I really like it. The shades, though, are quite dupeable. Maybe. The ColourPop Mulan palette, I'm gonna be hanging on to this just because of the packaging. It means something to me. Mulan is... let me actually clarify. The Mulan cartoon movie means a lot to me. The live action one is questionable. No,
horrendous.
Yeah, okay, let's just be honest, it sucked. So, but I am gonna keep this palette though, just because I do like it. I feel like I'm already at 20 eyeshadow palettes in the yes pile. This is problematic. This is the MAC eyeshadow palette. Again, I never reach for this, so I'm just gonna donate that. Huda Beauty Nude Palette. When it comes to all of those beautiful pink shades, honestly, yeah, I'm keeping this. Ooh, this is another eyeshadow palette that means a lot to me. I actually used this for our rehearsal dinner. Yeah, I'm gonna have to keep this one. This is a random palette that I got from Ipsy. It has like some random colors in it. Just donate, whatever.
Jesus.
It's the best description I can give it, really. It's never really seen the time of day in my vanity, so donate. Okay, this is the Lime Crime Venus XL2 palette. I actually got this from a friend. She gave it to me just because I think the tones were a little bit too light for her. I have to be totally honest though, I don't really reach for this one. If I'm being super cutthroat, which I feel like I have to be at this point in time. Yeah, so we're gonna, donate this one. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's take a count of how many yes palettes we have and then we'll know what I have to do with my maybes. Okay, so we have a slight problem. I already have 20 yes palettes and this is where I'm going to start hardcore bargaining. Okay, just hear me out on this, okay? I've identified, obviously, the Berlin Underground palette as being a special occasion palette that means a lot to me. I would like to put... I can't believe how much bargaining I have to do with this. I'm going to put the Inglot 5 Shadow pan that I put together myself in the special occasion and not count it towards the 20, including the Fame palette by ColourPop, because this one also was used during my wedding pretty heavily, or during my wedding weekend pretty heavily, so I'm going to put that on the side as well, including the Naked... hang on, I know, I can hear you laughing.
So saying including.
But like, the Naked 3 palette I used during my sister's wedding. I can't get rid of it. And so, yeah, okay. Now we have...
Now, and you can change all the rules.
Oh my god, okay. Yes, I did change all the rules, but it's for good reason. Okay, so now I have 17 in the yes category. I'm going to take one out of this because I don't reach for it as much as I went on and on about how much Mulan means to me, but honestly, this eyeshadow palette, I've used it like maybe once or twice since receiving it, and it's fine, but it's not something that I can't easily duplicate in my current Yes collection, so...
Wow, really? It's intense.
I have to be cutthroat with this. I have to...
But it's Mulan.
I know, but it's not even like... Oh.
Just keep it for the packaging. It doesn't take up that much space.
Wait, really?
Wait, why am I the...
Do you hear yourself? What if I just like put it up here like all the time as like a display?
Yeah.
Okay, shh, well, we're gonna keep this. We have room for 4 palettes.
And you have like 25 in your...
Oh my god. Okay, let's start making... I know, I don't know. Okay, we have to make some deep cuts. The hair has gone up, so we're all about it. Out of the maybe pile, I think I can keep like 4. Maybe 5 if you're willing to... Does this count as... Okay, my sister gave this to me. This is my first eyeshadow. I'm calling it a special occasion. Alright, I can keep 5. Okay, we can do this. The Too Faced Just Peachy Mattes palette. I don't reach for this enough, so we're going to say goodbye to it. The Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette. It has beautiful, beautiful, like, purpley tones, but I don't stan, if I'm being a young person, I don't stan either of these people, whether it's Morphe or Jaclyn Hill, so we're going to say goodbye to that. The Becca palette.
Somebody's named Morphe.
No, that's the brand. Frick, I don't know. Okay, if we're looking at the Nabla Side by Side palette that is very similar to the Soft Glam palette, I think I'm going to go with keeping the... Oh Lord. This is turning out to be way harder than I thought it was going to be. I would... Oof. This is going well.
Oh, you saved me.
Also, actually, I would say that these are all quite similar. No? Yeah, the NARS palette and the Honest... Like, these are all very, very similar color stories. I really love the performance of the Narcissist eyeshadows. You can't get this again. It's limited edition. So I'm going to go with... Oh, God. Out of the 3 of these, I'm going to go with the NARS palette. And I'm going to put the Nabla palette and the Soft Glam palette in the donation pile. Oh my god, that actually really hurts. Let's talk about the palettes that are really, really warm toned. Between the Hip Dot palette and the Urban Decay Heat palette, I am actually going to say that I would rather keep the Urban Decay Heat palette, simply just because I have more shades in here. I can create more looks with them, so that's the one that I would rather keep. But I'm still going to keep this in the maybe because I feel like I have to make even more deep cuts. So Hip Dot's going to go. The Milani Gilded Nude palette, it's a fantastic drugstore eyeshadow palette. It's just that I do feel like I have this color story already in some of the other eyeshadows that I have. So we're going to go ahead and donate this one as well. The What's the Tea eyeshadow palette, oh my goodness, I feel like I can't let go of this one just because I love it so much. So we're going to keep this also possibly in that category. The KKW Beauty, this one is also really, really hard for me to part ways with just because I don't have many of these tones, so we're also going to put that in the forefront. The Modern Renaissance palette, I feel like I have a lot of these tones, so I'm going to go ahead and go with Donate this as well. Oh, my heart and soul. If I'm talking about like donating pink tones, this is actually quite, as I'm looking at this actually, this is quite similar to the Vive Muse palette that I do have. So when it comes to pinks and stuff, the Vive palette and the Huda Beauty palettes are just absolutely incredible. So we're gonna say goodbye to the Naked Cherry palette as well. This is the worst video I've ever had to do. I can literally feel my heart shattering every single time I'm like talking about this. Too Faced Sweet Peach, I'm gonna have to come back and revisit. The Dominique Cosmetics, can this count as a half palette? It's tiny.
Alright.
Okay, thank you. The Nomad, the Cartagena palette is really pretty and you can't get this anymore. I just don't think that I'm going to get as much use out of it. It's so vibrant and like just, yeah, I don't see myself reaching for this on a regular basis, so donate. The Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk palette, I think this can go to a better home. I don't see myself reaching for this because I do think that I just have other eyeshadow palettes that can do something similar, so donate. I don't want to donate that one though. I'm pulling it back out because...
Oh my god.
Okay, I'm pulling it back out only because here's my thing. I would use the pink shades in here, and as an eyeshadow formula, it is better than the Heat palette from Urban Decay. I just don't feel like...
Get rid of the heat.
Okay, all right. Okay, we saved the Pillow Talk for another day. We'll see if it makes it through. Okay, the Ciate London Chloe Morello palette, honestly, I feel like this is easily dupable in my collection as well, so we're gonna go with donate this one as well. The Moods palette, as much as I love this, here's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to depot this palette and save just the singles that I really, really like. So this will live to see another day, but I won't keep it as an eyeshadow palette. I'm just going to take it apart.
You loved that one.
I know, but I feel like, you know...
You don't use it?
I want to save them for the colors that I really, really like, but what I want to do, it's the highlights that are huge for me that I just don't think I'm going to be able to find anywhere else, and so I'm going to hang on to this simply for the reason of depotting and keeping it somewhere in my collection, but just not in my eyeshadow palette collection. I know that that's technically cheating, but this has gotten super real. Out of the maybe pile here... Whew, this actually hurts, man, because I'm looking at like my donate palette and my donate pile, and there are so many that I am going to have a really hard time saying goodbye to, but which is kind of odd. Like, why the hell has Kylie Jenner made it, but Anastasia has not? I don't know why the hell this is still sitting in my maybe pile when it should actually be... Like, I would rather keep the Soft Glam palette over this. So, yeah, we're making a trade here because this is just absolutely ridiculous. Why did this go and this is here? That's dumb. Okay. This is getting wild. So, I'm allowed to keep 5 out of the ones that I have saved here. I actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, 6.5, but 20.5 is like, you round down to 20. Okay. I know that I'm cheating right now, by the way. This is not the most successful declutter video out there in the universe. Sorry. I don't know what to tell you. Okay. Similar to the Moods palette, I am going to depot the one shade out of this palette that I really, really like, because I don't know why I'm holding on to an entire palette when it's really just this one shade that I really like. Like, that's just absurd to me. So I'm going to remove this one shade and then, you know, trash the rest of it. And at that point, actually, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eyeshadows left. So the 5 that we are keeping from the maybe pile are the Anastasia Soft Glam, which we've like resurrected from the eyeshadow palettes here. The Becca palette, which again, I feel like we have to keep just because her brand is gone. I can't ever find this again. Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk, which I feel like is just a classic. Too Faced Sweet Peach, which is one of my favorite palettes of all time. Can't imagine getting rid of it. And then also the KKW Beauty Camo palette. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me sadly declutter my eyeshadow palettes. This has been really hard, but I do feel like actually the eyeshadow palettes that I have left are staples and ones that I really, really love. I'm going to cherish these because they are my survivors. And I feel like there's some resounding themes in here really too, right? Like these are the best of the best in terms of formula, color, shade selection, color story, all of that kind of stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel, and I will see you guys next time with my much smaller eyeshadow palette collection. By the way, I just want to say this doesn't mean that I'm not going to purchase other new eyeshadows, right? Like I can continue reviewing stuff on my channel, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. See you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.